Welcome to the inaugural series of 5 Minutes for Good, a place for leading voices to share initiatives that go beyond the commercial. In this first series, we hear the flip side and discover what the travel industry is doing for good. Following a short intro, guests will be given their 5 minutes for good, firing up the engines, inspiring action, and making us think, that was 5 minutes well spent.
Five
minutes for good. Welcome, Sam Tilotson, to your 5 minutes for good. Thank you for joining us. This is the inaugural series of the podcast. So for us, this is very exciting, and it's really lovely to have you. Originally, you contributed to Travel for Good, which is a publication that precedes the 5 Minutes for Good, with a wonderful article for Lonely Planet and Sustainable Estonia. But before we get into your 5 Minutes for Good, perhaps tell those who are listening out there a little about you and about yourself and where you work and where you come from and what that all means.
Well, hi there, Phil. Delighted to be here. Thanks for inviting me to come along on the very first podcast. It's an exciting new project. A little bit about me. So I've been working in the travel industry now for nearly 30 years. I started my career at EasyJet back in 1995 when the airline launched. And I was there for 15 years. And that was a really exciting time because it was all about changing the travel industry for good, in that it was about encouraging people from all walks of life to travel and explore. And obviously, the tourism industry has changed quite a lot. We understand a lot more now about the impact of travel, the positive and both negative impacts. So my interests have kind of changed over the last few years to be more in the direction of sustainable tourism. And I've been at Gosh PR now for 10 years. And a few years ago, just after the pandemic, we decided that actually we're really passionate about responsible travel. And so we wanted to set up what we call our Green and Good team, which is really dedicated to supporting sustainable travel initiatives and trying to make positive change, really.
And I'll ask you a question on that. How has the industry reacted to you going purely into that green and sustainable environment?
The industry, all of my peers have been very welcoming in terms of really developing more of a specialism in sustainable tourism. It's obviously something that has increasingly become on people's radar over the last few years, and people are starting to prioritize more in order to make positive differences in terms of the product and the services that they are providing to consumers. So actually having a PR specialist that can recognize what is a genuine story and what's not greenwashing, it's super important to make sure you're being honest in terms of the communications when it comes to more sustainable tourism. It's been very, very well received, and it fits perfectly with some of the clients that we work with.
Brilliant. Now, this is your moment, Sam. This is your moment for your 5 minutes for good and to tell the world about what that is to you and what you do. Over to you.
So in terms of ensuring that travel is a force for good, our Green and Good team, the aim really is to support and promote sustainable approaches to tourism. And so that means that we represent clients that are leading the way in sustainable tourism offerings, right through to those that just want to make more positive changes and shout about them. And that's included launching the brands for like charitable travel and sustainable journeys, Lonely Planet, who have been inspiring off the beaten track travel for more than 50 years. But now what they're doing and what we're helping them to promote is publishing stories and guides which really tap into more personal interests. So we've just launched the Women Travel Solo Guide, the LGBTQ plus travel guide, which very much promote travel as a force for good by empowering people to have the confidence to explore and connect and have deeper and more meaningful experiences destinations. But I think it's really important that often sustainable tourism is often just associated with the environmental and conservation projects, which is incredibly important and vital, really. But actually, gosh, what we want to do is expand on more of the ethical tourism perspective and look at how we can help people have a positive impact in all sorts of different destinations. So a good example of that is our work with Estonia. They're recognized as one of the most sustainable countries in the world, and there's a lot that we can learn from them in terms of how their society operates, how they prioritize nature. But actually, they're quite a quiet and unassuming country. So, what we have to do for them is really delve into the detail of their community tourism projects and help them uncover experiences that UK travelers will enjoy, which will enable them to reconnect with nature and ultimately help spread tourism income to more remote areas. And so we use that principle and that approach for all of the clients that we work with, whether they're sustainably focused or not. And it's about delving into that detail so that if people are going to make the journey to travel to a destination, obviously that has an environmental impact. But actually, when they get there, let's make sure that they have a positive footprint.
And in terms of what your work for Lonely Planet, how does that fit in? Because they're obviously quite an extensive brand, that is.
It is. So for Lonely Planet, we do the PR for their publishing side. So it's all about the new book releases that they are publishing. And a lot of those people think of Lonely Planet and the traditional guidebooks that, got your notes scribbled in from many people's travels. But actually, they are publishing a much wider range of titles now. So they are looking to promote that responsible travel message by ensuring that people actually get out and explore off the beaten track. Don't go to the popular tourist destinations that are over touristed, but consider going somewhere else. Consider going somewhere that still has a very much an authentic flavour. And naturally, that's a crucial part of responsible travel.
And with your women travel solo guide, I'll say that's a fast growing environment, isn't it, in terms of women wanting to travel solo. But I guess within that, there's the safety issue that goes with that and the reaction from those local environments as to how they welcome them. How do you address that?
Well, that's exactly what Lonely Planet is. They're experts at is about finding local people in these destinations that can recommend the best cafes, the best areas to go to, the most welcoming parts of a destination. They then collate stories. So, in the case of the Women Travel Solo book, which has just been published, that is a collection of 30 different stories of women who went to destinations, wide variety from hiking up mountains in Norway to trekking around Morocco. It's a very varied range. And actually, it's their on the ground locals experience that is super important. And ultimately, travelers want to feel a bit like a local. They want to have a local person's insight. So that's why we try to bring that to the fore.
And you talked about the LGBTQ plus environment. Tell us a little bit about that as well.
So this was another very exciting title that Lonely Planet have just launched a couple of months ago. And it's their very first LGBTQ plus travel guide to the world. And this has got over 50 destinations, which are welcoming to the LGBT community. And what they've done is they've spoken to local voices who have pulled together their personal recommendations of their top recommendations of where to go in their favorite city, in their local area, which will welcome the LGBT community. So it's a very different approach from Lonely Planet, and it's been a really exciting journey for us to be able to connect with the community and really help to celebrate and make them feel welcome and encourage. And travel brings people together ultimately, and it fosters a great understanding of others. So that's why it's super important to really give different communities from solo women right through to the LGBTQ to give them the confidence to want to explore.
Amazing. Do you know what's amazing about this is that 5 minutes goes very quickly, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, but I'm rabbiting.
I don't think you are at all. It's fascinating. Is there anything within what you've said in 5 minutes that you would like to add that hasn't been added already?
I think probably the key principle in terms of trying to ensure that travel is a force for good is to remember that travel fosters a greater understanding, compassion, and empathy for others. And if we can help to raise awareness of how to explore and how to truly connect and have deeper and more meaningful experiences in destination, that's what responsible travel is all about.
Okay, thank you, Sam. That was brilliant. As I said, it's amazing how quickly 5 minutes goes. But now, before we close, it's time to drop your guard a little and go off piste. I'm going to ask you if there's one thing you could do for 5 minutes that isn't necessarily for good, what might that be?
This is such a great question. And I posed it to everyone in my office last week and got some amazing answers. And there are so many things, it's really hard to drill it down to one. However, having just sat at home this weekend and watched the Glastonbury coverage on TV, I think the thing that I would love to do for 5 minutes more than anything else is be on that pyramid stage with a much loved band, looking out at the whole audience at sunset. What a magnificent celebration of music and love that would be. So that's where I'd want to be.
Do you know what? I'm right with you. In fact, I'd want the microphone as well. Sam, thank you. That was 5 minutes well spent.
Oh, thank you. Well, and thanks for letting me be your guinea pig.
Anytime, anytime. And if there's anything more, you're welcome to come back as well.
That was 5 minutes well spent.